In this video, we will be finishing our dream rooftop deck. In our last roof video, we installed the Orion roof rack along with the Nomadic AC and the Le Mans low profile fan. Our goal is to install our ladder, mount our 825 watts of walkable solar panels, and wrap up our roof deck with the rear scene lights built into our roof rack.
Next up for our roof rack installation, we are installing our ladder by Orion. And we're very excited about this because this should make going up and down on the roof rack so much easier. Like most of the Orion products that we've installed thus far, they come with great instructions, like really good instructions. They're color coded, there are many images, different angles, lots of like notations. They're awesome. So hopefully this should be easy. Okay, so we have a window that's in the mail coming and is going to be put right here. And so we were looking up the specs and it ends right at this black seam. So we are measuring basically the center between the end of the flare and this black seam. So that way we can align our ladder. Getting something straight may seem like such a small thing, but it's like one of those things that you will also see every single day and it'll kind of drive you crazy. So even though it seems that we're being a little nitpicky, I think it's pretty important.
Now for the final part of our ladder install, we just have the upper connection nuts and bolts, and just like everything else, super well labeled, makes our job so easy. And it is nice, it's just a small detail, but all of the nuts, all of the bolts, they're all using the same size socket wrench and Allen wrench, so it makes our lives easy too. So we just have the same tools for everything. We don't have to go searching for a particular one for this part or that part or whatever.
Time to get on the ladder and put in the nuts and bolts, finish the project.
Yeah!
All right.
All right, first let's see if I can get down from our new ladder. Hot.
It's very hot.
Oh God, it's really hot.
Yep.
This is awesome.
Nice.
Wow, that worked amazing. And besides like it being the dead of summer in Florida, 2 p.m., blasting right on it, that is awesome. Project complete. Good job, babe.
Woo! Proud of us.
For the biggest, probably most important part of our roof rack, we are installing some walkable solar panels on top of them. So this is a 165 watt panel. It is a semi-rigid panel, so you can see it doesn't really move around that much. We're gonna be able to walk on this with our shoes, no problem. And we have 5 of these massive panels going up on the roof, covering our low profile fan that we installed earlier. So these, I just cannot wait. These are kind of like marine grade solar panels made for decks of boats, actually, but perfect for what we need them for. And to mount them, we need to drill a few holes, a hole in each corner to start. Let's do it. First time ever using a table saw. First time ever.
I'm inside cooking dinner and I hear the saw start going off. I'm like, whoa! I was coming out here to make sure you had your PPE on. You do.
These are the J and H channels we'll be installing later in this video. They come from Orion as the length of the panel and are easily cut for the shorter sides. I've done my MC4 connections. They turned out really, really good. This is 8 gauge wire, so this is pretty thick wire because all of our panels are in parallel, but everything is appropriately sized, so we should be good there. And I'm just trying to get everything done in the shaded garage, so then I can just be on the roof in the sunlight for the install, which is the least amount of time. It'll still be a while, I'll still be sweating buckets, but it will be worth it once we have walkable solar on our roof. Also, I didn't mention earlier, but we are using Wago lever nuts for the first time ever, and they are so fun to work with. They're basically just clamps where you clamp your wires into the nut, and it replaces like your twist nuts or any other type of wire connections that you have. So basically I have 2 3-way Wago nuts here connecting our scene lights together so they can be on one switch, and then we have these waterproof Wago connections that go on top of it. So that's what'll make it waterproof and ready for the roof. And it's one of those things that I'm also really happy about for the roof rack, is that all these wires and everything is gonna be protected by the roof rack. So our UV damage will be limited, the elements will be limited. I mean, of course it's still outside, so it needs to be waterproof. But in general, hopefully any sort of wear and tear is somewhat minimized. All right, we have all of our tools. Let's start drilling our holes. Next up, solar panels.
Yay! This process has taken us about a week to get to, between a lot of communication with Orion, a lot of remeasuring solar panels, a lot of planning out wires, calculating distances of wires, drilling holes into the corners of the solar panels, and much, much more. But we are finally here.
Yes.
And we are excited and so ready to be on this step.
It might take us a couple days even from here, but you know what?
Each day is a little bit closer.
And it all starts with one step. First hole in our roof rack. Making sure no metal shavings go anywhere. We have a box underneath the roof rack right now, so we got our little deburring tool.
After we installed our AC and our fan, Elliot noticed that there was quite a bit of rusty metal shavings on our roof. And so he took several hours, probably like maybe 4 or 5 hours, going through and removing each panel individually and washing the roof and scrubbing each and every, like, where all of the metal burrs had gotten onto the roof. We thought we'd cleaned it, but clearly not well enough. And so we painstakingly went and cleaned it. So we're very cautious this time of any of the metal shavings, because this is kind of more of the more permanent step, I guess. We're just being very cautious. That's the hope anyway, to prevent us from having to wash it again. By us, I mean Elliot.
Okay, can't say I heard that noise before.
Time check, it is 8:25 p.m. What just happened, babe?
So we're having problems with the riv nut tool. Every single time I insert a riv nut, this is the second time in a row, and I did practice before this and practices went fine, but the riv nut is like going in a little off center, and it's not going in straight and flush and nice and easy, and I don't know why. And so to get the first one to actually work, I ended up just drilling out kind of like the area that it didn't work, and with the 1/4-20 kind of like screw. Anyway, that worked. And now this one I was doing the same thing because I messed it up, and now I broke the drill bit inside of the rivet nut. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Just keeping it real here on Show and Joe.
Thriving, absolutely thriving. Just super thriving. I just love this.
And if you're wondering, Ollie really is thriving. She's enjoying life, taking a nice nap in the grass, She's loving it.
With that, we are out of the light, so we're gonna call it quits for this evening. We'll check back in mañana. I will work on getting the drill out of the rib nut, and I'll analyze it from the bottom because I wanna make sure it's actually going through the metal enough. I don't know if it's something's wrong with the tool or something's wrong with the person using the tool. It's more likely that, but check back in mañana. We have decided to work smarter, not harder, and we have come to Kenny's house where we did the flares, if you remember, in our first van build video, to do the roof rack. So we're gonna be here for as long as it takes, probably multiple days, to make all of these rib nuts and install all of the solar panels. Now I kind of have like a little workbench set up, thank you Kenny for this, and yeah, so we are kind of just switching up our game plan, and we just tried it for the first rivet off camera, rib nut off camera, and it actually worked really well. It worked out the first time, which I feel like maybe it was a good thing that I wasn't filming because I might have jinxed it. But basically I'm setting up here, this is the station where all this stuff happens, and then we'll bring the panel back up. So we're kind of just doing one panel at a time, one rib nut at a time, slow, methodically, making sure that the panels fit, and going to be working our way through the van. So we have done 3 rib nuts out of 20. And just like that, only 4 more solar panels to go.
So while Elliot is on the ground and doing a bit more of the rib nuts, the drilling, and all of that, I'm kind of staying on the roof rack and measuring and aligning the solar panels.
Teamwork makes the dream work. How do they look? We have 2 panels in. We are going to end the day because it is about 20 till sunset, and we still need to do some cleanup and stuff. We'll be back tomorrow to do hopefully the other 3 panels.
Yay! Go team!
Go team! Air 5.
High five. They look so good.
And they're walkable.
So they are bolted down.
We're gonna have washers on those. Those are coming in tomorrow. So it's not final, but this is for us to place all the rib nuts, and it's looking good.
Day 2, and a little bit of a behind the scenes update. We have a tropical storm coming tomorrow, so we need to get to work today. We are putting some of these J channels and some of these H channels onto the top of the van, and we are just kind of arranging them so that way we know where exactly to put the solar panels. So as you can see, we have all 5 solar panels up here, and it is a bit like Tetris. And so we are trying to be very thorough whenever we are putting these in. So it's a little bit of the same as yesterday. It's a very slow process because of how thorough we're trying to be, which basically means measure out 1 hole in the solar panel to the panel, take off the other panels because they're all interconnected, and then have Elliot put in the rib nut, paint it, all the things, drill it, and then hand it back up to me, and then I get to measure the whole thing again. But we're very happy with how the first 2 panels came out yesterday, so we hope the remainder 3 panels come out just the same today.
Tried to be fancy with the rib nut tool and try to like switch sides so I can get it evenly. And I kind of over bulged it a little bit, but not enough to where like it was as bad as the first 2. So I kind of screwed the screw in, and it just got stuck. And I have not been able to get the screw, and I've been making it worse and worse and worse. And I even had like some specialty tools here. I have a screw extractor kit, but I'm forced to drill through it and hopefully keep the rib nut still good. Now the MVP is this tool. This is a drill tap, a 1/4-20 drill tap. Essentially, this will make the threads for 1/4-20 when they're slightly off. And this came from Jennifer's grandfather. We have all of his old tools. So thank you, Gordon. I wouldn't have known what this was, but we had it in our toolbox. So we are very, very, very lucky. Now for a midday check-in with Ollie. Mid-video check-in, how you doing? She wagged her tail. I think she approves. The last roof riv knot. Don't mess this up, Elliot. Moment of truth, if this comes off easy, you did it right. Yeah.
You learned a few things in all the mess ups.
I've been around the block. How many rip knots have you done? 20. 20, exactly. Time for the most important check. And for this episode of Does It Screw? Yeah.
We just put in the last bolt into the solar panel. All 5 solar panels are done. I am so happy that they're done. So much take in, take out, take in, take out, take in, take out. It is pretty hot and humid because we have a tropical storm coming tomorrow, but they're done and they're bolted down. This is not the end of the process. There's still quite a bit of work that has to be done. We'll share that process tomorrow.
We are back, folks, and now it's all about cables. Catching all of the solar cables and bringing them into the van. So to accomplish that, I did a lot of math last week, over the past few days, for a very long time to figure out what is safe and secure. Very important things for electricity, to be honest. And so we have 8-gauge wire right here. So this is a little bit thicker than most solar arrays. And that's because since we have 5 panels, there's not really an easy way to combine them. And we'll go into all the details in our blog post about this. So if you want to know all the nitty-gritty, go there. Long story short, these big old wires, we're going to separate this, and our wires for our rear scene lights and our Starlink in the future need to come into the van. And so what we're doing to try to limit the holes into the van is to use a good old-fashioned junction box, a weatherproof junction box from Lowe's. And we're basically drilling holes, adding in our waterproof NPT connection, going to add a good amount of sealant around this to make sure this thing is secure to the roof and not going to leak. We'll see how it works out. Check out our contraption. It's kind of like a mad science experiment in a way, but it's all kind of sealed and nice. Now, let's mark it on the roof and install it.
We are trying to prevent metal shavings from going everywhere with our shop vac and some tape. Now, hopefully they don't go everywhere because they are a pain in the butt to try and clean. But if they do, you'll just have to deal with it and clean it. But that is the goal.
All right, for our cable entry gland, we need about a 1-inch hole right here. Kind of in line with our AC because this is going to be dropped down a little bit. And we want it on the panels that we have access to. So right here, we'll draw a tiny hole. And Jen's going to let me know that the hole is good. And then we'll drill the hole with the hole saw right after that. Ready?
Ready.
Now, my favorite way of Rust-Oleum painting, a Q-tip. We are back at the van, and today we have a hurricane. Fortunately, Hurricane Debbie is only a Category 1 and slightly missing us, but like with this covering, there's really not much of a difference for working on the van today. Probably just a little bit more background noise, to be honest, but I am just going to dial in, get absolutely locked in, and basically route the solar panel wires. We did the junction box yesterday, so I'm gonna check that. We're gonna be zip tying the wires to the roof, slowly working our way back, putting thread locker on everything, and wrapping up this project. Let's get after it. All right, here's our work from last night. This thing is set. This thing is going nowhere. Time will tell how waterproof these connections are. I might add a bead around like the edge there on each of them, but we'll see. But this box is solid. And there's the entry point to the van. I'm gonna be working my way front to back and kind of routing these wires underneath all the panels. I have a long jumper wire. I might be cutting this, splitting it. Got my toolbox so I don't have to make a bunch of trips because Jennifer's working on inside stuff today. So it's just me. We got our jumpers. Take these 5 wires and bring them into one. Hopefully I have all my tools. Time to get to work. Alright, I have all of my wires now kind of coming from the top of the roof rack all the way back aft, kind of poking out the ends. And so that's these 3, and then the 2 on the end, those are already down there, which is good. So I can do all my MC4 connections down there before I bring it into the van. And it was a lot more involved than I thought to extend out those wires. Just a couple issues around wire sizing that I had to deal with. But it's all safe, all secure. It's 3:30. I think I started at 10. So yeah, 5.5 hours of getting a few wires connected. Story of my life. It seems like everything's taking quite a bit longer. And now I'm gonna put this panel back that I'm kind of sitting on. And what I'm doing to kind of route the wires and connect everything is zip ties with some VHB tape, 3M VHB tape, kind of just aligning all the wires down to the back of the van. Alright, I think that is basically going to be it for me today, so I will check back in tomorrow. Alright, we are back. The storm has pretty much passed. It's still a little bit misty and rainy today, but a lot less windy. So that means a lot less noise. Hope you guys liked the ASMR from yesterday. And today we are basically going to be wrapping up, hopefully, the roof. I am like excited to be done, not because it hasn't been fun working on the roof and we're not excited for it, because we are, but it just feels like the roof has taken so much longer, especially with the 5 panels, how big they are, the kind of specialty wire that we have, all the riv nuts, everything is taking much longer. It's Tuesday. We're trying to do like a week per video, so this is now a week and a few days on this one, and it just makes everything a little bit more tight and a little bit more stressful. And we're also excited to work on the interior part of the van, which is coming up very soon, the next video. So just keeping it real with you, we are very happy how it's turning out, but also behind the scenes, we are thrilled to get on the inside of the van. right, got the wires finally all connected. It has just been a very tedious process today, but very fun. I'm really happy how it turned out. Very organized, very secure, and very watertight. And now, basically I get to attach the final deck panel, covering up these wires with some thread locker, and that'll be pretty much it. I do need to route some more wires inside. I'll do that when the wire comes in, probably tomorrow or the next day. But that is progress. This van build is moving along. Now basically, to prevent the wind, we have these J channels, which are these metal brackets that kind of just fold over the lips, and we are gluing these down with VHB 3M very high bond tape. And that is going to secure our solar panels for any basically forward wind as we're driving, because if you think about it, they need to survive almost hurricane winds every time that you go on a highway. You know, definitely a little bit less, but there's very high winds while driving, and so we're trying to be as cautious as possible, as thoughtful as possible to secure these panels. And we're gonna keep an eye on it and keep an eye on our bolts and add some thread locker before we go on our final trip, but I think they're pretty dang secure. The riv nuts do such a good job at holding these panels down. We have some special washers coming tomorrow. I think everything has been a little bit delayed because of the hurricane, but I'm trying to get the van into a good enough space to where we can move it back home today, and I think we're pretty much there. I'm just gonna add this J channel to the very front. I might add some of the other ones back there, depending on ease and simplicity, because it's only a few miles home. But yeah, what a process. Check it out! The roof solar deck is complete. It looks so good. You can see here the channels, the little bit of extra protection from sideways winds. We got it up top there and on all the sides. Wow, looks great. Good enough to be driven home. We're gonna add some washers to the screws later. But wow. It looks great. I just feel so relieved right now. This was an effort, but I think it came together so well. The wires are very neat and tidy. So hopefully we don't have any issues with chafing or any issues with this electrical part. And yeah, let's bring our baby home. Now that we are back home, and before I install our rear scene lights, I need to tidy up because the solar panel install took way longer, used so many more tools than I thought. There's only a few more small tasks to do on the roof before our dream roof deck is complete. Now fortunately, a lot of the legwork has been done here. So here are the scene lights, and they come with a waterproof connection from Orion. They came with the roof rack that we got, which basically has these cutouts. So you can see there. So those cutouts came with this and all the things required for the scene lights. These are just high-powered LED lights that will be nice to have, you know, for those maybe early mornings, early hikes where we need a little extra light. I'm excited to see like all the different use cases we have for them. This should be a pretty simple job. Knock on wood. Everything's been so hard lately that I really hope that this one goes according to plan.
All right, one light is done. Now for some YouTube magic for the second one.
All right, now for the wires, and this job is done.
Yay! Woo! Good job.
Thanks. so to route these wires, there's a bit of a complication, one that I hopefully have planned for, but basically these are the 1/2 inch NPPT connectors that are in our junction box. These are waterproof connectors. These are what basically makes this connection waterproof from outside to inside. But these wires are way too small for this connection. It's just not fully covered, and this is tightened already. We kind of need to basically double the diameter of the wire. And so basically what I found online is that if you use heat shrink, you can artificially build up your wire to a bigger thickness. And I purchased this giant box of heat shrink types. So that's the plan. I'm just gonna layer up heat shrink and heat shrink and heat shrink, and hopefully that works to make a waterproof connection. And then all that's left is tidying up these wires, and we're good. All right, mission accomplished. It just took 2 pieces cut in half, so basically 4 pieces total. And now we have a waterproof connection. And it looks pretty good, if I might say so myself. Now time to duplicate that for the red wire. That worked out really well. Now I'm just gonna do some wire organization and call it a day. Wow. I can't wait to see what these look like with power. Now let's circle back at night to show you how they look.
It is time to test them out and see how they look. We have not tested them prior to installation, primarily because there was no Sikaflex or any like really hardcore sealant that needed to be used in installing them. So if they had an issue, it wasn't going to be a problem to remove them. But we are so excited to take a look and see how they look on the back of the van. Whoa, that's bright. Wow. So we've got some hillbilly engineering going on right now to turn on these lights, but wow, that is so bright. Holy cow. Anyone come and mess with us, we're gonna turn on our lights. That looks really sharp.
Yeah!
Super bright.
How's it look?
That looks awesome. Nice job. That looks awesome.
Thanks. I cannot wait to basically hook up the electrical system for real with like a switch and see them myself. But right now I got to see from the camera and they look so good. Oh, thank you.
They're both working. They look great.
Yes. And thank you to Orion Van Gear again for partnering up with us on the roof rack and the rear scene lights. That is an option. So like, you can get a roof rack without it. We got it with it. And I am stoked to see how that is for us on the road.
It really transforms the van.
Yeah. For the cherry on top, our solar panel washers came in, and this brand new addition by Orion not only looks great, but will hold the panels perfectly. With that, our dream rooftop deck, roof rack, solar panels, and everything is complete.
We are so excited for the epic sunsets that we get to watch on this rooftop deck. We hope you join us for those, as we will be sharing them in the future. But as for now, we appreciate you watching. If you have any more questions, we have a really detailed blog post all about the installation of the panels, how we got them on, a lot more details than this video.
And that's at showandjoe.com/vanbuild. The link is on the screen, so make sure you check that out for all the details, including what not to do, because there's a lot of mistakes in this part of the build that made it take a little bit longer than planned. But I think every time that we're up on this roof in the future, we are going to be grateful for the time we spent now and the investment we're spending now, because this is our full-time home, and we've effectively added what, 80 square feet
Yeah.
of outside space to our home.
And lastly, we'll be doing an expense breakdown of our entire van build. It will be broken up into all of the expenses of the van build as well as individual projects. So if you're interested, please check it out on our website.
And with that, we are going to be moving on to the inside of the van build for the next project, which is the floor. Make sure you subscribe to see that.
Yes. Thank you again to Orion for partnering with us. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you in the next one.
And if you're wondering where Ollie is, because I don't think the rooftop's really that safe for Ollie, she's making sure that we're not going to miss her. There's going to be no missing Ollie. We're not going to forget about her because she's the bottom of the ladder. Isn't that right, Ollie?
Can't forget about me, folks.
You want some broccoli?
You want some chicken broth cubes?
You want to go for a walk?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Come on up.